Today we're going to be reviewing the fairly new Kastaplast Jarn. We're going to compare it to the Discraft Zone and the Westside Harp. We're going to talk about the feel, the flight, and also see if this disc should end up in your bag. Welcome to the Flippy James Disc Golf channel. My name is James, and if you like course reviews, disc reviews, overall relatable disc golf content, then be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. But this video is all about the Kastaplast Jarn. So I have been a big Harp fan. I've been throwing the Harp for about a year. I have another buddy who throws the Zone, but he also throws a lot of Kastaplast, and I found this was available online. I ordered one, and it's actually going to be a gift for him after I make this video. So shout out to Kyle for letting me use your disc that I got you. So we're gonna start off talking about how the Jarn feels in my hand. I would say if the Zone and the Harp had a baby, this is how it would feel. That seems really weird. So let me explain that. The Harp has a deeper dish and the Zone has a shallower dish. I would say this is pretty similar to the size of what a Zone feels like, but on the edge here, a Zone is kind of flat and straight. There's not much of a groove, but like the Harp, there's way more of a groove here on the disc. So the Jarn also has that same groove with being a shallower dish. So that's how I would compare it to the other two. It'd be about the perfect mix. Now I say perfect if you like the shallower dish and the groove. If you don't like the groove or you don't like the shallower dish, then the Harp or the Zone might be a better option for you. The sign for this hole says it's 232 feet. We're gonna start off by throwing a VIP Harp because that's what I'm most used to. We're gonna throw these first throws on forehand. Next, we're gonna throw the Discraft Zone. Little windy. Little more overstable than my Harp. And the Kastaplast Jarn. Came out a little wobbly out of the hand. It did start to turn because of that, but it also faded back. So I'm gonna go grab that one and throw it again because it wasn't an accurate representation of. I'm gonna be right back. So before we throw the Jarn again, I want to give a shout out to Flippy Disc Golf. They are a disc golf apparel company ran by disc golfers. This video isn't sponsored, but they sent me this jersey and another one. It's my first time wearing it out here, and I'm in love with it so far. It's super lightweight, super stretchy, and it just feels comfortable, especially on a day like today when it's like 88 degrees out. Much better than the cotton shirts I was wearing before. They have shirts and hats as well, so if you want to pick something up, there's a link in the description, or go to flippydiscgolf.com and use FlippyJames10 for 10% off your purchase at checkout. So a headwind did come in and it kind of kept it flat for a lot longer, but if you saw at the end when it slowed down, it really took a dive and didn't just fade out. So definitely going to say it's a little bit more overstable than my Harp. I'm not sure about the Zone because I haven't thrown the Zone that much, but if I was to guess, it's either the same or maybe a little bit more overstable than the Zone. Now I'm going to throw all three on a slight and Hyzer. There is a Mando on this hole, and so when I throw it backhand, that's kind of how I like to play it. I'll usually put a slight and Hyzer on the Harp and let it fade out, and so we're going to try that with all three of these. Didn't give it enough height, but it was doing what it normally does. I don't know if you could see it go around the bend, but it stayed up and it flexed out like a Zone normally would. If you're watching this and you've played disc golf for any amount of time, I'm sure you know what a Zone looks like when it flies. On to the Jarn. Oh yeah, way more overstable. And good distance. Yeah, so way more overstable from a backhand. I'm gonna definitely trust my backhand throws versus my forehand to give you a more accurate representation of what the disc does. If you could tell, that held that ante line for just a little bit, flattened out, and then hooked left way past the basket. So definitely gonna consider it more overstable so far. Next, we're gonna move to a different hole where I throw just a straight Hyzer. I know this is more about how the disc flies, but just for reference, over here on the left is where the basket is. So on this hole, I like to throw a standstill Hyzer shot. I just feel like I'm more accurate that way. So again, we're gonna start with the Harp, move on to the Zone, and then finish with the Jarn. Little too much Hyzer. That's parked. So the yarn definitely wanted to turn down and land faster than the zone. I kind of floated the harp out, but like I said earlier, it's not as stable as the zone to begin with. Now we're gonna try some run up straight flat shots out of the hand, see if you guys can get a better idea if this disc might be for you or if it's not. Little Hyzer, not crazy. Definitely fought more than the harp. So I scooted back a bit from the second basket we were throwing at. We're gonna try a couple more flat shots and see if I can give you guys a better view of how these fly. That was flat for the zone. Oh, I yanked it. Still coming back, and a skip. Sorry, Kyle. All right, we're gonna rethrow that yarn one more time. So I have thrown the yarn in my backyard a couple times before coming here and making this video, and I can definitely say that it does like to fight left faster and harder than my harp and this zone that I've thrown. Onto the feel of the discs, I think I still like the harp best for backhands. I like the bit of a deeper dish. For forehands, I'm kind of leaning towards the zone now, just because, like I talked about earlier, it doesn't have that groove as much, at least, in the side of the disc. So when I forehand and hold the yarn, I can feel the gap, and I don't know if I am a fan of it or not yet. For backhand, I don't notice the difference as much for holding it compared to the zone. They both have that deeper dish. It does seem that the zone, this is a 2022 Ledgestone zone, it does seem that the zone is way more flat than compared to the yarn. It does have a little bit of a dome in the middle. It could just be the one that we have here though. I don't know if you can tell the difference by holding them up here, but the zone is way more flat and the yarn does have this little groove, I'd say, on the sides. Not like a Berg does, but you can kind of think of it that way, and then it kind of goes into a little dome in the center. Looking at it now flat, you can kind of see where the little middle bump is on every disc you ever have, pretty much. It's kind of a indented circle in the middle there. I don't know if we can find it here. Might have to show you when I'm back home. So if you're looking for an overstable approach disc and you already have a zone or you already have a harp and you want something a little bit more overstable, especially for headwinds, I think the yarn's a great choice. I don't think that it feels uncomfortable in my hands at all from what I said previously. I just think that for different throws, I prefer these two more, but not to say this is uncomfortable to where I wouldn't ever throw it. To help make my point on the disc a little bit more clear, I'm definitely keeping the harp in my bag, especially for backhands. I might pick up a zone for forehand shots, especially more in the wind, and I think I'll get a yarn as well just to have for the super strong headwinds when I'm not too far away. And I want to make sure that it dives down and doesn't fade a long way, because if you saw the last throws with my zone, not my zone, friend zone, Tim's zone, it did stay and glide a lot longer than the yarn. It could be my arm speed, it could just be in how I throw it, but I definitely noticed the zone and the harp staying up in the air longer versus the yarn. If this video helped you decide if the yarn or one of these three discs is the right one for your bag, please give this video a like, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on disc golf content in the future, and we'll see you in the next one.